Okay, everybody, today we're going to be talking about the problem-solving design process. I made a nice graphic here for you to take a look at. We're going to talk about each one of these steps in order. So first, let's talk about what the process is. This is a loop that engineers use, some artists use, and we use to solve problems or come up with ideas for projects or anything that we want to solve a issue or problem that's in our life, in the human-made world. So the first step is to identify the problem. What is wrong? What is it that needs fixing or improving? This is very important because if we're not certain of our problem or what our goal is, what we want to end with, then we won't have a direction to work. So we want to clearly define the problem. This is just a statement of the problem, a clear, defined goal or statement, something we want to accomplish. And then we move on to step 2, which is the research phase. We want to find out if anybody else has solved this problem. And then we also are going to put any kind of design constraints on our own work. So how much money do we have to put towards this project? How much time do we have to put towards this project? Depending on the problem, does it have a size requirement, audio, sound requirement? I don't know, anything that pertains to the problem that you're going to put a limit on. You have to clearly define those things so that when you do your research, you have a direction to go in also. Maybe somebody has solved this problem already and that's as far as you have to go, and then you'll just decide what solution is the best for you, or you find some solutions that you want to build on, you want to make better. After we have a pretty clear idea of what it is we're looking for here, we can start coming up with solutions. So we know our limitations, we can start coming up with solutions. And that's the planning phase. First, we start with brainstorming, which is really just where you let your imagination go wild and coming up with ideas. These can be crazy ideas. These can be even out of bounds of your design constraints because you never know where that might go. I really like this idea and I need to pull it back so that I can fit it into those design constraints. So don't limit yourself with brainstorming. Pencil and paper is very cheap and very quick. It's meant to be fast. Come up with quick sketching ideas of what it is that you think would solve the problem. Come up with a variety of ideas to consider and then pick one. Once you pick one, you can follow a path, a more defined plan to arrive at the solution that you want to try out. The rest of that planning phase is to clearly lay out what it is that you're going to do and how you're going to do it so that you can get on to the fun part of the process, which is the build process. Now, plenty of people also have fun with the sketching part and the coming up with ideas part, but if you have a clearly defined plan, then that build process is going to go faster. If you do not, if you jump right from define a problem to build, chances are very, very good you're going to go over or outside of those design constraints. And the most common that I find are taking too much time, costing too much money, or wasting material. So without proper planning, the build will not go as well. Now, as we build, we may discover new problems, issues that we didn't know before, and we have to do a mini design loop to solve those problems while we build it. But then once it's built and we have our solution, we can test it. We can see, does this actually solve the problem? Does this follow all the design constraints that I said it needed to in the beginning? But it's not only our opinion. We should ask other people, does this solve the problem? This is important. Other people's opinions on whether this actually solves the problem is important because chances are very good that if this is a common problem and you've come up with a nice solution to it, but no one else agrees that it's a good solution to it, then it needs more work. But if it's clearly a good solution and it's widely accepted as a good solution, this could really contribute to solving a common problem. After we've evaluated it and we've tested it, let's say it's good enough for what we need to get done, we will then go through a redesign phase to refine the idea to make it better. So this is a loop. This is not one line from problem to solution. Oftentimes, this is repeated many times through the process because we might design something, come up with an idea, and come up with a solution and build it. And then when we test it, we realize, it did solve the problem, but I think I could do this in less time. I think I could do this for less money. I think I could do this with fewer tools required to do it. And then we redesign and we go through and look at our process again and see if we can make it better. And this process goes through round and round, over and over, in countless examples in the human-made world. But this is the process. So this loop, I'll put it up here one more time. This loop really is something to think about. And we do it almost without knowing that we do it. But it's good to highlight in our minds where we are in the process so that we can keep those ideas organized. So often we come up with a solution and we think, oh, this would work. But if we don't follow through with it, it doesn't actually solve the problem. Or if in the beginning we don't clearly define what the problem is, we never really know if we solved it. You can start observing the things that are fixable. This, you think, this, whatever this is, bothers me every day. I'm going to come up with a solution to fix that. And that's what I want to try to teach you this year, is to have an eye for those types of things, to come up with those solutions. Don't be discouraged if there are solutions that you can't achieve right now, but you're looking for ways to improve the world around you. Let's get started.